Money in the Cul De Sac. Everyone wants it. But do you know the best ways to get it? In this video, I will be covering the top methods on how to get money for all 3 stages of progression. So let's get into it. Okay, beginning with the beginner stage. Here there are 2 main methods of getting pretty good money as a beginner: farming and fishing. Let's begin with farming. First, you want to go down this path of the plaza all the way to the farm. Just follow me. Okay, foraging at the farm, I've said it before and I'll say it again. In my opinion, this is the best starting point in the game. The spawn rate for crops here is insane, as you can see, and you'll hit level 30 within your first hour. And the money here you get from selling these crops stacks up fast without needing any special gear at all. So, as you can see here, I'm using my divine harvesting tool, and all the crops I'm getting is crazy just from one ability use. This method is pretty self-explanatory. You just want to walk around the farm collecting the crops just as I do. And then once you're done, go to the pawn shop at the plaza and sell them for cash. If I were to start over again, I would begin with the farming path, just from the sheer amount of money I can get from beginning this way. The farming method is great for levels and money, but the next one is going to be crazy. Onto the fishing method. Fishing at the beach. Now this one is widely recognised as one of the best beginner money makers in the game. I mean, it's straightforward, the catches do come frequently, and it's a great alternative if you want to mix things up early on. So from the plaza, walk upwards to the beach, and in the top right there will be a set of 5 docks that you can go on with your rod. Alright, onto the fishing method. Before we begin, let me introduce you to loadouts. These are set loadouts that you can choose for all your gear that matches the perfect pathway. For example, my fishing gear will all be listed under the fishing loadout. With one click of a button, it's loaded onto my character. I recommend using loadouts when you want to use a specific method. For example, fishing, use a fishing loadout. Farming, use a foraging loadout. It's all the same. Now you need to choose your rod. For beginners, I recommend an iron rod or above. When you first begin fishing, there will be circles on the water. Cast your rod to initiate the minigame with them. When initiated, you'll have to press the numbers in the corresponding order to catch the fish. Quite simple. From that one swing, I got 27 splash tails. Now, let's go see what that sells for. At the plaza, you want to go to Fawn's pawn shop. Here you can sell all of your items that you gain. But before you sell, remember that talk about loadouts? Yes, there was a loadout for selling too, with King Orum's crown for the extra 10% sell increase, on top of a title such as Moneybags or the Heart of Gold, which adds extra boost on top of it. Additionally, the VIP Game Pass adds another 10% on top of that if you're willing to pay the price, but of course, that's up to you. Just King Orum's crown alone, paired with the Heart of Gold title, gives you a plus 30% sell increase. So be sure to use it whenever you can. I'll be doing a dedicated builds video soon covering the best setups for every stage of the game, so subscribe so you don't miss that. Anyhow, back to our splash tails. Let's see what they sold for. 27 is what I got, and it gives me a lovely 5,300 cash right off the bat from one swing of the rod. Now that's pretty good money if you ask me. A dedicated 30-minute grind could potentially get hundreds of thousands, even millions, with the right setup. If you ask me, the fishing method was a great success, but now that we've finished the beginner methods, let's move on to mid-game. Mid-game kicks in around the Anima level, when the Anima dimension opens up, so this is where things tend to get serious with money. You want to begin by heading over to the portal, either through the teleporters or through the portal gate. If you don't know where this is, follow me. Go up to the farm, and then in the top right corner of the farm, the portal resides. Here we are, let's head through. In my opinion, the best money-making methods in this stage of the game are foraging and catching in the Anima dimension. Both are significantly more profitable than anything in the base world at this stage. One important tip though. Constantly switching between builds is a pain, so instead of constantly switching between foraging and catching loadout, I recommend just sticking with your foraging for grinding Anima. It keeps things simple and the returns are still excellent, so it doesn't really matter. Just save the build switching for when you actually need it. This method is quite straightforward, but anyway, you want to harvest the ferns. To do this, I use the ability on my harvesting tool, which collects them all in one fell ability. Now you may not have this ability, so you can just go around collecting all of them around the map, but yes, I do recommend getting this divine tool as fast as possible if you want to do this method. Catching is the same principle, just use your ability on your tool to collect all the moths in the area. And there we have it. That is the mid-game progression going for money. Now let's see what those sell for. As always, when going to Fawn's pawn shop to sell, equip your selling gear. This was the title and the crown as usual. In the critter section will reside your moths you caught. I'm going to sell around 200 since that's what I realistically got, and that right there is simply 26,000 from one ability use. Now, the ferns, I'm going to sell 1,000 ferns, and I got 260,000. I was only in the dimension for around 30 seconds, so that's pretty good if I do say so myself. Grinding out this method alone can get you some serious money down the line. It's perfect for a mid-tier, but just wait till you see what we have for the late game. Now in the end game is where real money is made. There's two methods that stand out above everything else that I've said in this video. Endgame methods are no joke, you can get so much money with this. Beginning with method 1, fishing, again. We're going back to our roots in the beginner phase, but with a more endgame style pool to fish in. Onto method 2, mining the divine boss. Let's get on with the fishing part. If you've made it this far in the game, you'd already know that the error biome is no joke, but the fishing returns at a completely different level to anything earlier in the game. This is where real stacking happens, trust me. The amount of money I've made from this method already alone is shocking. Anyhow, if you've been following me as you should have been, you should end up in the canyon. At the end of the canyon across the bridge is the error biome. If you come up, you should see an electric pond. This is where you're going to fish. You're going to want to select your best rod. At this stage of the game, it should either be ego or reflection. Fishing is just really easy, same as the beginner stage, just cast your rod and there we are. What you're seeing here is the ability of ego. It can easily collect most fish in the pond with one ability. You should use a rod like this if you plan to get a lot of money from fishing. That was a pretty good fishing session. I'd say that was around a minute of fishing. Let's go see how much we made. From that one session we caught a lot of fish, ranging from legendaries to rares to uncommons, just many. As you can see, I'm scrolling down and I have thousands, specifically of lotus serpents, which is one of the rarest fish you can find there. Just 300 of them gets me 200,000. And now if I sell, let's for example, some glitch fish. Sell 1,000 glitch fish and you get 115,500. That was after around 1 minute of fishing. I have now just realised that I did all of that without even using my fishing gear. I promise you, if I did use that, I would have got so much more that one session. Anyhow, on to the next method. Now that we've established that fishing was awesome, I promise you, this last one's going to make us so much more. Strap on in and put on your mining gear, because we're going to go to the quarry. Second method is the divine mining boss, the final mining boss in the game. Watch this. You want to go over to the quarry with your will chestplate and your grind divine pickaxe active. This will activate the event once you press enter. This is the Earth Heart. What you're going to want to do before anything is defeat the event. I'll run a time lapse of me doing it right now. Now that you've defeated the boss, we can progress on to the actual method. Once you defeated it, you get this cool loot box, of course, got the cool pet from there, which also boosts your progress. But here's where the money is. It leaves all of the ores after the event, which you're free to go back and mine whenever you want. If you do leave the event, you have to retake it before you mine the ores though. and done. The money and loot you receive from this is absolutely exceptional, and on my level it takes me about 30 seconds to defeat the boss, and around 2 minutes to mine everything. In my opinion, that is way more efficient than fishing or anything else, because you get so much money in a short amount of time. But it's up to you if you're up for the grind. Your build must be optimized at endgame. Every percentage point counts in your build, and as always, cash build before you sell. Non-negotiable. Onto our resources. Let's see how much sapphire we have. 18,000. Let's sell 5,000 of it, and that is 650,000 cash. Let's use the same amount on ruby. Another 650,000 cash. We get way more, such as fairy ore, gold, so much more, emeralds, everything. And this is just an amazing method of money, as you can see. So there it is. That is my guide on how to make money at all three stages of the game: beginner, mid-game, and endgame. At the beginning, fish at the beach and farm. Mid-game, forage and catch in the Anima dimension, and at endgame, of course, fish in the error biome and defeat the divine mining boss and all of its contents. Make sure to always run the right build for your method. Always sell with the sell build, and just do those two things consistently. You'll never be short of money in this game. Soon there's a builds video that I'll be making, a full breakdown of the best setups for every stage of the game, so subscribe so you don't miss it. See you in the next one. Zenoric, out.